Hi, I'm Athena Stamos, die-hard Trekkie, and your host for this evening. We'll be interviewing three of the minds behind the upcoming web series Star Trek Continues. They're beaming in right now. Welcome Vic Mignogna, who plays James T. Kirk and also produces and directs the show.
I had to do it. I'm sorry. I had to come in. Where am I? But hey, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you.
Oh, I'm glad to be here. Very excited to be here.
Greetings, Chris Doohan, who is stepping into his father's footsteps as Scotty.
Aye, another transporter malfunction.
No, you did well. You did well, Mrs. Guy.
Hi, it's great to be here.
And hello, Grant Imahara, who plays Mr. Sulu.
Whoa, a little rough on the re-entry there.
Welcome to the bridge.
Mr. Chekhov, set a course for Beta Origai. Course laid in, sir. Mr. Sulu, warp 6.
Yes, sir.
So Vic, tell us a little bit about how and why this web series got started.
I've always loved this series. I felt like it inspired me in many ways to kind of develop my own creativity about things. And I was asked to direct a web series called Starship Farragut, executive produced by John Broughton, Mike Bednar, and Stephen Dangler came in with Dracogen Productions. They're great guys. We started talking about maybe, hey, why don't we form a partnership? The four of us acquired a 9,000 square foot facility in Georgia. It will be the single largest standing recreation of the original series sets on planet Earth. We're even working on a Jeffries tube for my boy here.
Aye, laddie.
Yeah. Get your butt up there, Mr. Scott.
The Jeffries
Fix
tube.
it. Get in the tube.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of other actors involved. It's a great cast, and we are so excited about what we're doing.
Grant, most of us know you from Mythbusters. Can you tell us about some of the other awesome things you've worked on?
Yeah, I worked in special effects for 9 years for Industrial Light and Magic. So I was in the model shop, worked on the Star Wars prequels, Galaxy Quest, Jurassic Park, a number of things there. As far as acting goes, though, I think this is probably the largest scope project that I've ever been involved in.
So please tell me you're not responsible for Jar Jar Binks.
I am not responsible for Jar Jar Binks.
On the record, yeah.
On the record.
And Chris, can you tell us about your background related to Star Trek?
First off, you probably know my dad was Scotty from the original.
What?
It's hard to
You didn't know that?
I mean, when
From
you
the-
dropped that, my dad was Scotty.
I was very young. I was, 6, 7 years old at the time. And, people say, oh, it's so great that your dad's in Star Trek. This is so great. To me, my dad could have been working at the post office. It didn't matter to me. I didn't really even watch Star Trek, to tell you the truth. And it wasn't probably till I was maybe in my early teens, and I started going to some conventions with my dad, and I thought, boy, this really has a huge fan base. Well,
Yeah.
What's so great about the Star Trek? And then I started really watching the episodes. And I can't even get my daughters to watch the episodes right now. I can't wait till I can I'm going to sit them down in front of the TV and say, just watch these episodes. I want you. You have to. It's part of your heritage. And anyway, I started watching them, and I fell in love with it. Vic messaged me, and he says, we have to talk. I would really like you to play your father's role, Scotty. And at first, I was reluctant, wasn't I?
Yeah, he was.
I said, well, the accent. I don't know if I could do the accent, and then I talked to my family about it, and they said, why wouldn't you just jump at the chance to do that? It'd be great. And so I started practicing my Scottish accent. And actually, a little funny story. I was in Scotland, and they were opening up a little museum, the future birthplace of Scotland, in Lithgow, Scotland. And the mayor, or the provost, I guess they call him over there, he picks me up at the train station. And he goes, so I hear you want to do a Scotty. I said, oh no. I said, first off, I'm too old for it, and my accent would be terrible. He goes, perfect, just like your dad's. I said, what? He goes, your dad was terrible at the accent, Slatty. He goes, he was endearing, we loved him to death, but his accent, oh no. And I thought, it was so funny, I just laughed. Anyway, so I thought about that. I said, well, it doesn't have to be a spot-on accent. I'm not going to do an interpreter. I'm not going to be my dad. I'll just do the best I can with a Scottish accent.
I'll never forget the day that you called me and you said, I'm in my car right now, and Howard Stern is interviewing Gerard Butler.
That was it, Gerard Butler.
And I'm repeating everything he said.
That's right. I'm my iPhone. I'm taping the whole thing in the car.
I love it.
And I just listened to Gerard Butler over and over again. And he's got a very good brogue there.
Yeah, so Gerard Butler was your voice coach.
He was my voice coach.
What research did you guys do for your roles? And was there anything fascinating that you discovered about the cast or characters?
The coolest thing? I've actually become friends with William Shatner now. I do voice acting work professionally. I do a lot of anime and video game voice acting. And I do a lot of personal appearances at conventions, pop culture conventions. And I have the same event manager as he asked me to call him Bill. Can you believe it? He literally said, "Call me Bill." I said, "Can I call you Bill?" And he said, "Sure."
Achievement unlocked.
I know, right? What I did learn is that he talks the way he talks all the time. By the way, I'm not going to be doing that. All of you out there, I promise, I'm not going to be mimicking or in any kind of a mockery. Our desire is to honor the original characters. We do that in fun, but never for real.
So on screen, there won't be too much Shatner.
No, there won't be.
90% of Scotty is James Doohan.
Well, that's
So-
you know what, and that's I think that's even what Shatner even says.
He's always that dramatic.
I actually had to watch and see what sets of controls he used. And as it turns out, there's only one row of controls that he normally uses, in any given, like 99% of the time. And then there are certain things that he has to do where he reaches up higher. In a lot of these fan films, the first thing people want to do is flip all the switches. Do not give in to that urge. The entire time we were filming, it's like the best summer camp you could possibly have.
Yeah.
My 8-year-old self is like freaking out.
And
She's
you
like,
became Sulu. I mean, I was so blown away when I saw his first line. Just his first line, I said, wow, that is awesome. He's Sulu. He's really Sulu.
I'm sitting in the chair and just like, oh my god, I can't.
Oh my.
I can't believe what's happening.
So what makes this series different from any other fan film or series?
Most people would agree that probably the single weakest link in a fan production is the acting. They have a passion for the subject matter, but they don't have any skill or any background or training or experience in acting. And so I determined from the very beginning, we're going to get people who are actors, who are comfortable in front of the camera, who can play these characters. Secondly, just the quality level. The original series of Star Trek had a very, very special look to it. The way it was lit, the way it was shot. We've got people who know how to recreate that look, even down to presenting it in 4:3. Everybody's used to 16:9 now, but in the 60s, the TV screens were 4:3. And we want to tell deep stories. Fan productions, a lot of times, they kind of stay a little bit on the surface, shoot phasers and Klingons show up and beaming in and out, but I want to tell some of those stories like the original series did, Some of those amazing, out-of-the-box, character-driven morality plays. And I think we're very well positioned to do that.
So it's more like a professional fan film than a fan film, because
Right.
you do have those professionals.
Right, and we're not making any money from it. We're not selling anything. We're not charging for it. This is purely a labor of love. It is something that all of us who, when we were kids, we loved Star Trek. And to get the chance to put on a uniform and step onto the bridge of the Enterprise and interact with friends and make something special like this, that's priceless to us. We just want to do it for fun, but we've gathered people that are all experts in their field. So the production value will be very high.
I heard a story recently about something that happened to your father's costumes when you were younger.
I would go over to my dad's house, and he would have 3 or 4 of the tunics, the shirts up there, in his closet. And I remember one day I thought, that little thing, that little badge looks really cool, and I just ripped it off. But no, that's not even the beginning of it. That's just the beginning of it. So, we had a lot of props around. When they did the Trouble with Tribbles, they gave us probably 20 tribbles. They had a gross of tribbles on the ship. Everybody, kids were involved with the show would get those tribbles, and so we had a whole bunch of these. And of course, we had no idea that they'd be valuable. I mean, you could an original TOS tribble now goes for several $1,000s, if not more, and depending. The moving ones go for $10,000. We played with our dogs with them, and they got mangled up. We were on the set the day they were doing Trouble with Tribbles, right? And my dad put us in the shuttlecraft, and it's pretty much, my dad's like, you stay there. You get out of there, big trouble, big trouble. And of course, I have a twin brother, Monty. But we break out of there, and we're just wandering around, and we go to one of the sets. We could tell where they're actually filming, right? We stayed far away from that as possible. We usually did because we're noisy. And we're going down this hallway, one of the corridors. And we see this like cabinet type thing up on top. So I get my brother on top of my shoulder. He reaches over. It was the one with all the tribbles in it. They all fell on top of us. We freaked out. We ran back to our shuttlecraft, closed the door, and it wasn't 60 seconds After we get back, my dad comes walking up and says, "You are such good boys."
Vic, where does Star Trek Continues lie within the Star Trek timeline?
The last episode of the original series was an episode called Turnabout Intruder. When they stepped into the turbo lift, the door shut, and that was the last anyone ever saw. Ours just literally picks up where the original series left off and continues. One of the things we're most excited about is that anytime we come up with a great story idea, we can just go shoot it. The sets will be there, the sets are standing, they're finished, they're done, and we just need to show up and make another episode. Our plan is to release at least one, maybe 2 episodes a year. And when we find a good story, there's nothing preventing us from saying, "Hey guys, let's go shoot this is awesome." You know?
We got the studio.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the big hurdle. We are wanting to find good scripts. And that's a lot more difficult than one might think.
You're going to get a bunch of emails now.
There.
Probably. Yeah.
Here's my email address. Grant at...
All right, guys. So last question. You've got to prove your worth here. What is your favorite Star Trek original series episode?
I think for me it's Mirror Mirror. You know, that's the
what I was
original.
gonna say.
Yeah. Well,
you better think of a new one.
Darn it.
Oh, you can both have the same.
Okay.
What it's, you know, it's that whole alternate universe kind of thing.
Trouble with triples. I just, to me, and I think that's probably a huge fan favorite in reality. So what's your favorite?
Okay, mine is like really obscure. It's not like one of the big ones that people remember, but it just grabs me so much every time. I love the story. It's a character story. It's called Requiem for Methuselah. It's just an amazing story. If you've not seen it, if you've not seen that episode, check it out. It's a great one. And any information you guys want to find out, StarTrekContinues.com, and join our Facebook page. It's going to be always updated with new things, pictures and news, and there'll be a tour of the sets and showcasing all the people that work on the show, and episodes will be there.
So thanks for stopping by, everyone, and to our viewers, live long and prosper.